Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to episode 9 of the Founder Academy. I just want to start off by apologizing. I had 2 or 3 other games, I think, on a computer that I no longer have. So I had that and a couple SBCs, so there might be some discrepancies with the record, but I actually lost that footage because I don't have that computer anymore. So I had to go get a new computer and started basically fresh again. So not the account starting fresh, but I had to start setting up all the capture footage and all that stuff. So we're right back into it. I think it was only 2 games that I missed out on. Not a real big deal, but sorry that you guys aren't going to be able to see that. It was 2 wins, so we do come back into the tail end of Season 7, or Division 7, excuse me. So we need 2 more wins to win Division 7, and the first game we come up against is this guy who's shockingly got a BPL, La Liga, bronze, silver hybrid. This looks like some kind of SBC team that you'd have to put together in order to do one of those rainbow SBCs. But credit to this guy for getting into Division 7 with that team. 58 chemistry. I didn't really expect a whole lot from this guy. Playing with 58 chemistry, you guys know my feelings on that. It's shocking. I don't know how anybody can actually do that, but if you can win with it, that just shows that you're a really good player. Also, at the start of the video, you guys saw that EA's released something for FIFA 18, basically saying if you guys play 5 times within the next 2 weeks or so, you get 4 of those kits. None of those kits really interested me that much, but it's better than some of the bronze kits, and I guess one less thing you'd have to worry about is getting some cool kits you can use right off the start. So you're probably going to see millions of people using one of those 4 kits or 2 of those 4 kits right off the start. So this guy with this bronze team, actually, you guys see the frame rate's a little bit choppy because the gameplay had some lag in it. So all I wanted to do was score a goal because I was worried that this game was going to drop out or this guy was going to drop out and quit. So he did start off a little bit hot. He was coming at me, but Andre Gray, beast finisher, very inconsistent for me, but a big-bodied guy who can just score goals on breakaways and stuff like that. He tends to really crap out later in the game, so he's a guy that I definitely do substitute. But if you can get a goal with him early, he's fairly decent, especially considering he's essentially discard value at this point in the game. So not a bad little striker to have as a reserve. So we were peppering this guy. His Fraser Forrester, though, causing me a lot of problems. I don't know how that's possible. I don't remember Fraser Forrester ever causing me problems, but you can see here, that was just a weak shot, but his Fraser Forrester, especially later in the game, is going to come up with some massive saves. I think I've always said that, height is a massive feature of a keeper, so if you can't afford, one of the big guys like the De Gea's or even Hugo Lloris or Courtois, one of these big guys, just go get Fraser Forrester or one of these really big, tall, 6'6" guys. That's why Jack Butland's so good, because he's so long and lanky that he can basically kick his foot out and stop low drivens and stuff. So his Fraser Forrester was causing me a lot of problems early on in the game, and he will cause me a lot more problems later. One of the guys that actually surprised me a lot was Lanzini. Lanzini, I thought, was pretty good early on, but he was causing me real frustrations later on as I played some of these other games. You guys saw there, I was right in front of goal with him, and that was just a poor shot by me, poor effort. I tried to kind of pussyfoot it again, but he should have been driving those shots low, and he should be, scoring goals. I mean, he's got decent stats, but he's just not very effective, and he's not as good as I thought he was going to be. Look at this for totally screwing that up. I mean, I was in on a 2-on-1, and Daniel Sturridge, instead of breaking off, one of my frustrations is they cut in. Look at him cut in. And then I tried to play a little return ball to Smolov, and it went all the way back to the midfielder, who plays it back into Sturridge, who's got 4 or 5 guys around him, and he scores that. So that, I totally screwed that up. But the fact that he scored that, I'm not going to complain. But man, what a frustrating thing. And again, here's another example. I tried to just play a little dink inside, excuse me, because I had the run on, and it plays it back. So I don't know if that was because I was having some lag. This game was a little bit choppy, but those are the types of things that you come up with when you face guys and your connection isn't good, is it doesn't register the passes. It's not pinging them together. And I've had a lot of those instances where I'm in on goal and it will pass back to a guy who's outside of the box, really idiotic. The guy's right next to you, and you can't make the pass right to him. It's very, very frustrating. But needless to say, we do end up scoring a second, and we do get a third here. Smolov again. I mean, 92 pace, 92 shooting. The guy is just such a beast. It was such a great card to pick up in one of those SBCs. You know, you need him, especially for, you know, the fact that we're moving up in divisions. You know, Division 7, you're getting kind of some riffraff players still, but you'll see in Division 6, you know, oops, I don't mean to spoil that, but, you know, as you get into Division 6, you're starting to come across some guys that might not be the best players, but their teams are beastly. You know, they've been playing all year round. They've got beast cards. They've got a lot of SBCs. They've got a lot of special cards. They've got a lot of unlockables. So I need to start really putting some guys together here. Like, I know I've got a couple of these subs, like Smolov, again, with a beautiful goal here. Waits out the defender. They always expect to cut in. I just basically let the ball roll across his body, and a little double tap here. You'll see here. Whoop, a little bit there. Just let it come across his body, and then just double tap low to the near post. But yeah, guys like this, we need more of these guys, because the reality is my team right now, you can't go into like Division 6, 5, 4 with like Mario Lanzini as like your, you know, best attacking midfielder, and you can't play with like Kurt Zuma on basic chemistry as your center back. I need to start actually getting some guys that can compete. Thankfully, the team's starting to round off a little bit, but there are some weak links still, and you know, I don't even have great cards in some of these positions. Like at left back, you know, Alberto Moreno, not exactly the most ideal guy to have as a left back, and same with Nathaniel Klein. Nathaniel Klein's been really good, but I suspect he's going to be a little suspect playing some of the better teams. So we do go into our second game here. We come across this guy. I don't know what he was doing with the kits here. He was like waiting. He waited and waited so long. Like, I don't know what people are doing when they're sitting there trying to like wait for the kits to generate, but like, you know, just press go, dude. FC Avocado, let's go. We're pretty much ready to play here. So this guy's got a full Bundesliga team. The attack's good, but the rest of the team's kind of average. You know, Berkey, Rafinha, Bernat, Kevin Campbell, not really great players. But that attack, Diego Costa, he was using Kingsley Coman as his striker for some reason, and he did have Ousmane Dembele. So, you know, a little bit of a scary attack there, but nothing I was too worried about. You know, if he's only in Division 6 or 7, sorry, with that team, I wasn't too concerned about it, but the teams can cause some problems. So we do start off fairly strong against this guy. It was quite a bit offensive on my part. Like, I was just attacking. I was playing some really good FIFA, but again, I'm coming up against some better keepers, some better teams. And, you know, guys that, you know how to defend. And that's the biggest thing, is you see guys that actually know how to defend in some of these divisions. He does get a penalty, though. Questionable penalty here. Not in terms of the tackle, but the fact that I thought I had that, and he cut in on it, and I didn't think that it was ever going to be a penalty. I would have never even lunged for that. I don't even remember if I did hit tackle. I must have hit tackle because it had it in the animation there, but very strange one. But he does hit the post, so it wasn't a big deal. And then again, we get awful Daniel Sturridge, like a guy that is just so inconsistent. He'll come in and he'll score 2-3 goals in one game, and then he'll just miss everything in the next game, and this was what we were getting in this game. He was attacking, was starting to get a little bit more back and forth. You're going to see some of his attacking efforts as he was just rocketing in shots, and Kasper Schmeichel was making stops, but at the same time, some of them were quite questionable. So I want to upgrade my keeper, definitely. But, you know, I need the coins to do it. The keepers are basically almost all discard value until you get one of the more desirable ones. But again, like, look at these shots from Daniel Sturridge. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Smashes post. Like, there was a chance where he was in, and all I wanted to do was chip the keeper, and he smashes it into oblivion. And I'm like, bro, what's up? Like, what is up? Like, what is going on with that? So, just very frustrating dealing with Daniel Sturridge sometimes. Like, a very inconsistent card. I thought he was going to be a lot better. His non-informed didn't seem to cause me that many problems, but this special birthday one I was expecting even better things from, and if anything, he's actually been worse. So if he was tradable, I probably would have considered trading him and getting somebody like Andre Gray's inform or somebody like that. But Daniel Sturridge, you know, he is going to be the guy that we're going to have to build the team around, because he is untradeable, and he is basically the highest rated player. So we need that chemistry. We need a high rated BPL striker in there, so we're kind of stuck with him. We do get a goal, though, from Smolov. We bring him on. I think he came on as a sub in every game during this, so it showed you the competitive level that we're getting. And then he sets up this second one for Gabriel Jesus. A little stutter there, drive it low to the far post. That was basically R1 and X, I think, so essentially just a low-driven pass, excuse me, to the far post. And thankfully, Gabriel Jesus put this away. A lot of times this probably wouldn't have gone in, but because it was so much later in the game, beautiful finish from him. Exactly what you want to happen, but a lot of times those aren't going to go in. So Gabriel Jesus has proved to be very valuable. The only downside I get with him is he can be very, very weak. So when you're in a really tough game, especially later in the game, like he's almost unnoticeable because he's so weak on the ball. He does attack later in the game here. You can kind of see he was starting to just get really desperate and just run at my defenders. I was getting a lot of that today, actually. Guys just getting the ball and running across the middle of the field, and I don't know why, but the defense, I don't know if it was me or my defense or just the game in general, but they don't seem to handle it well. Like, you're trying to change players, and it's like, you know, even manual change players, sometimes it will start going into the midfield and you get all lost, so you have to start hitting L1 to change players, and it just, you know, I don't know if they just can't identify quick enough or whatever, but like the players are cutting across the middle of the field and it causes mayhem, and they'll usually won't score because you're kind of running away from goal and then you have to hit cross goal, but every once in a while you might be able to score. So needless to say, it wasn't something that I enjoyed dealing with, but you know, whatever, it's that's what you're getting in some of these divisions. You get guys kind of using some of these shady tactics. So we do end up winning the game. We get 5,500 coins from that. We're at 84. What I wanted to do was go get Ilkay Gundogan. I think he was about 86, 8,700. We sold Lanzini to try and make that work as well. He went for about 1,000 coins, and this is the Gundogan we get. I didn't notice that he was actually a cam. I wanted to use him as a center midfielder, and this guy had converted him to a cam, so that was a little annoying. We can use him. We can flip him back and forth when I need him as a sub, or I need to get some guys some breathers and stuff. I can move him into the midfield, but Dele Alli, he'll still get 10 chem. But it was annoying. All I cared about was the engine card, and I wasn't paying attention, so stupid move on my part. But with that being said, we do get our man. I was using his team of the group stage card before in my main account, and I found him very useful, so he was a guy that I just wanted to get to kind of lock down the midfield. Then we come up against this guy, our first game in Division 6. Funny enough, this guy's team, even though it was well put together, two things scared me about it. One, the fact that it was 4-1-4-1, and that formation, you guys probably know, drives me crazy. Not just that, but when guys bog the midfield down, when there's so many players in the midfield, like 4-5-1 formations or 5-4-1s, or like anything that's just got a lot of midfielders and defenders, like look at this guy's team. Like, it's just swarming all around. I was having to wiggle through and really work hard to create space. And I get why people do it. I mean, it's defensively, if you're not that strong, you can just let the computer defend for you and, you know, you're pretty much fine. But it was a total nightmare to try and break through this guy's defense. So I was resorting to some longer shots. So you're going to see some some clips here where, you know, I'm having to kind of hang around the top of the box here and either whip in crosses or play longer shots. Like, you'll see, like, there's not a lot of really good efforts here because there's just so many men behind the ball. He wasn't really generating that much, especially because he only had one forward and I was reading him pretty good, but he was just so frustrating because he was so defensive. The other thing that worried me a lot was Fernando Torres. I know that Fernando Torres is not that good in this game, but I think he's only like an 81. But for some reason, guys, Fernando Torres causes me total nightmares. Like, he just seems to score goals against me. I don't know what it is. His card isn't even that good. It doesn't have that high a rating, but it's just so frustrating to play against. This guy seemed to change his style up a little bit more. I don't know if he went ultra attacking or what in the second half. He was very predictable to read, but I just couldn't stop him. So maybe he wasn't that predictable, but he would basically pass along the side, get it to one of the wingers, and then he would cut in every time and just play it across the body, and it was just very annoying to play against. He did it again here. He basically went to the byline, cut back inside, and I got beat on a real pussyfoot shot from Fernando Torres. Those are very frustrating because you know where it's going, but like, I just couldn't get my defender Kurt Zuma back in time, and he slips it in, and we're down 1-0. So very frustrating. So I had to go ultra attacking here because I knew this guy was just going to sit back on defensive and try to, you know, grind out like a 1-0 win. It was very frustrating. I thought again here another opportunity, but Daniel Sturridge again takes so long. I don't know what it was with him. Like, he's just been horrid in some of these games. And here's another chance. You watch me read it. Okay, I read the play. He somehow still gets the ball. I knew he was going to cut back. He was never going to shoot from that angle. He was always looking for the striker here. But watch number 5 there. I just basically sit right in front of him. Oh, of course he's not going to watch it, right? So I sat back in front of him. I did intercept it, but my player just sat there. I tried to intercept it and like move forward and pass it, but my player just collected it and took a really stupid, slow touch. And his defender came, or his attacker came, took the ball, and then he smashed it panickingly into the near post. So it was very annoying. But we do grind one back there right at the start of it. I basically came at him full blast, just real quick tiki-taka stuff, and I was just attacking. I just knew that I had to get forward on this guy. I really wish I would have gone into this formation a lot quicker, a lot sooner. We did go into a 4-3-2-1 because it is a lot more attacking, and I did want to, you know, get forward as much as possible. But I think at that time, too, this guy also went, like, ultra defensive. Another pass there was just... I don't know where he was going with that. I think I tried to just lay off on like a tramp, but you know, this guy was just sitting back, and I think he went to like a 4-5-1. He might have just been still in this 4-1-4-1, but he definitely went ultra defensive because he was sitting so far back. Like, look at all the defenders there. But he just went so far back, and I just couldn't break him down. Like, look at that. That was basically what I was dealing with. He didn't offer anything going forward. He just scored his 2 goals, and I just couldn't grind it back. So, a little bit of sour grapes on my part from Conti 9, but, you know, whatever. It is what it is. And then we come up against this guy, GIF Gang FC. Great name. And, you know, the USA badge, and I thought, oh, here we go.
America, 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 fuck yeah!
Not even a bad USA team, too. He had Christian Pulisic, he had Team of the Season, Josie Altidore, he had Clint Dempsey's Man of the Match card, he had a Man of the Match Michael Bradley, a couple more informs, I think, and there's some silver guys. A team that, like... I worried playing with this team. I wouldn't have worried playing with a higher rated team, but with these guys, I was thinking, oh man, a bunch of those special cards, they're actually going to cause my guys some real problems here. So this guy was very strange in terms of the way he attacked. He was just getting the ball essentially, and like I was saying before, running across the middle of the field. So you'll see he does it once here, and then he does the same thing. Basically gets the ball and just runs across the field, and it was just causing problems because the defense can't switch, or maybe my old man fingers couldn't switch quick enough, but it was just such a basic thing, and I knew where he was going, but I just couldn't get my players across. Like, they were just following the play, and then he would just stop and cut back and run across the other way, and I couldn't get my players to get going. I don't know if it was the players that I was using or if it was me, but it was just so annoying to come up against. Like, dude, stop doing that. So curse words were coming out, needless to say. I'm glad I didn't do this in real time because it probably would have been a lot more funny for you guys, but a lot more frustrating and embarrassing for me to have to watch. But this guy was causing a lot more problems. He did start going attacking. His Josie Altidore beasting and feasting. It was just eating me up. He was just running at me with him, and I couldn't get the ball off him because he was so strong. And defensively, his team was pretty well-rounded. Again, I had to kind of, you know, I couldn't really work my way through because he was just letting the computer defend, which isn't, you guys know, a bad tactic. I never disagree with that as a tactic for defensive coverage, but, you know, it's very frustrating to play against. He just had so many men behind the ball, and the computer would just stand in front of him. So, that's going to be the end of the game. 0-0, very boring affair. Not a lot going on. I basically had a kind of panic defense, and, you know, he was counterattack play, but it was back and forth, but not a lot going on in that game, so I apologize for that not being the most exciting game. We tried to get a couple efforts going, but his team was just a lot better than mine in terms of like the way it was created. So credit to him for grinding out the draw. Maybe deserved a better result from both parts, but that is going to be the end of the video here. 4 games on here. I'm going to get these uploads going a lot more often. I'm going to try to knock on wood, I'm going to try and get some daily stuff going on because I want to get this series really going. I've said that so many times, but now I've actually got some time on my hands. I really want to get this going, so hopefully you guys will see a lot more from me. So if you can, please leave a comment down below. I'm actually looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say, what questions you have to ask. So anything, I'll make sure to include it in the video and shout you guys out. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and put a like on the video because I really appreciate that. It helps grows the channel, and I like to hear from you guys, what you guys have to say. So until tomorrow, look forward to hearing from you guys, and watch out for episode 10. Thanks. Peace.